Hello and welcome to another update video about MATIC. Yeah, the MATIC chart, maybe we start on the longer term chart actually, and then we take a look at the short term chart. As channel members, you get access to all these live charts on TradingView, and if you're interested. And yeah, this is the overall long-term chart for MATIC, showing MATIC as potentially already in a wave 2, within a large degree fifth wave, which could take us to new all-time highs. However, the condition is, of course, that this June 22 low is not broken to the downside. It is still very much a valid assumption that this wave 4 could extend, could reset a little bit lower. Then we would be dealing here with a larger WXY structure to the downside. But at the moment, as long as this low isn't broken, the June 22 low at around 31 cents overall, we can generally consider this assumption that a fifth wave is already in the making. That should eventually, for the next bull run, take it sort of into the region around $5 to $8. Sort of just a very, very rough guide path at the moment. That can still change a bit. They are basically moving targets. But there are already on the smaller time frames Fibonacci levels which are more relevant, which can give us a hint if this yellow wave count is going to break down and we will reset the wave 4 a little bit lower. And those levels are basically the key level for me is the 41 cent level. We might show you that on the smaller time frame wave count, but just wanted to give you here an overview of where we stand. So still tracking here potential wave 2, which means we're basically getting towards the end of this wave 2 correction. That's currently the assumption. At least we can give it a chance. I mean, it's not like I give it 80% probability or something that we're going to turn around there. It's more like a wait and see. Because if we align it with Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin should still see more downside over the coming weeks, as long as certain levels are not broken to the upside. And in line with that, I mean, I would not be too surprised if we get a reset here of this wave 4 a little lower. So I'm just observing this. I'm basically waiting with all of these altcoins for bottoming signals. Now, how you approach that's up to you. So for example, you could buy, but don't be surprised if it goes a little lower, okay? Conversely, if you don't buy, then you want to get the lowest point, which you never get anyway, in most cases. If you don't buy, then don't be surprised if the chart turns around quite quickly, because reversers are very fast. Now, for myself, I prefer to wait for a bottoming signal and will then accept that I don't get the very best price. But with that, at least I get some, let's say, sense of clarity that the trend has already turned back to the upside, right? So if we, for example, look at this chart, what I want to see is basically here a 1-2 setup within wave 3, and then to trade the third of a third wave, for example. And then we would still be very early on the path to, let's say, $5 to $8. This is just coming down at the moment. And we even have a trend line here that we could follow, right? So as long as this trend line isn't broken to the upside, that's a trend line that's worth following here on the daily or weekly chart. As long as that's not broken to the upside, I don't think we have any indication that a low is in place. Yeah, that's quite a relevant one. I would certainly want to pay some attention to. So let me just see that better. Yeah, so it's a pretty clear one. I mean, if the price was coming up now, it probably takes a break above 65 cents. Which would be a break above the August high, basically, to give us some clarity that, the trend is changing. Okay, we've got 3 touch points. That's sufficient for a valid trend line. Now, looking at the lower time frame wave count, we can see that before getting to those 65 cents potentially, which here you see the trend line as well, we have another micro resistance area. So the assumption is that the price, could be sort of getting down in its last leg of this wave 2 correction that I just showed you on the weekly chart, on the long-term chart. And you see the next support levels here. 48.6 is one that I expect to be reached at the moment. Then we've got 46.5 and then the 41 cent level. Below 41, I expect the June 22 lows to be tested and probably also to be broken. So at the moment, the sentiment still, I think, favors lower prices. Next resistance area is here all the way up to 54 cents in the current wave count. Ideally, the B wave would not break above that level. If we see a short breach, don't be surprised. We're dealing here with a B wave. B waves can overshoot. They can be very short. They can be very long. They don't really have very clear targets, okay? At the moment, the move up looks like a 3-wave move within this B wave that should result in a C wave to the downside to overall finish all these waves, okay? And within the B wave, I mean, the question is now, okay, you know, is this already, you know, do we get one more high and is this just an ABC structure in wave B? For example, if I gave you a micro count here, this could be the A wave, this could be the B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe one more high to get the C wave of wave B complete? Or is all of this just a 3-wave move? Is all of this an A wave? Do we get a B wave lower and then the C wave higher? Okay, so there's no way of knowing really what it is. That's far too micro, but the relevant levels, I think they are fairly clear. We can say quite clearly that as long as the price stays above yesterday's low, we should move higher into the resistance area. But these are the relevant areas or price levels that I would observe for potential reactions. We've got 52.8 cents, 53.3, and 54 cents. Ideally, we don't get above 54 cents to keep the current wave count very likely, you could say. Yeah, overall, against that level, I would focus on higher short term, but overall, it should be against 54, we focus on lower basically. Yeah, because this is just a corrective rally at the moment, still in an overall downtrend. As I showed you, we haven't even come close to that trend line. So, I mean, that needs to break anyway, right? To give us some clarity. So yeah, that's my update about MATIC. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.